Starting this show,
Okay.
we open up with Randy Orton and the Bloodline in the ring. Randy and Rock have a stare off for a while until Rock finally says, I told you that after we were done with Gunther, we were coming for you. Now, Gunther might not have ended the way I wanted it to, but this one will. Randy, you hurt these two men's father. This isn't going to end well for you. Randy just chuckles and says, no, this isn't going to end well for you. All of you. I'm going to strike you all down for getting in my way. This causes Nia Jax to square up to him. And Randy says, I've already RKO'd you before. I got no problem doing it again. Rock just pulls her back and says, me and Jimmy have a big match tonight. But afterwards, my full attention is going on you. And you're going to regret getting into the Bloodline's business. Alright, now we have this match. The match starts. Kaiser just rushes Black and immediately gets hit with a black mass. Black eliminates him. Vinci goes in there, locks up with Black for a bit, gets the upper hand for a second, tries to German suplex him, but Black lands on his feet. Vinci gets up and gets hit with a black mass and gets eliminated. Gunther in shock, just staring at him for a while. He jumps off the apron. He goes to Vinci and Kaiser and just walks away to the back. Black beats him by countout. Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
The Black beats all of Imperium.
yes.
I mean, he doesn't technically beat Gunther, but okay.
I mean, it's fucking Kaiser and and Vinci.
Yeah, but
Vinci
Vidi
been
Vidi
losing to
Vinci.
Apollo Crews in under 2 minutes.
Yes. You hate to hear it.
All right. After that, Michael Cole says we have commotion going on backstage. We see Randy Orton attacking Solo. He's hitting them with a chair. Refs start to separate them, but Randy punches one and the rest start to back off. Randy keeps smacking him with a chair until he finally stops. Then he grabs Solo's head, he puts it next to one of those crates they have backstage. He backs up and he punts him. He hurts his leg a bit, but Solo, on the other hand, is just like completely gone. Randy leaves as Rock and Jimmy finally get there. Okay, we have this match. Naomi is in control in this match until Bianca comes out to distract her, just like Naomi got her last week. As Bianca is getting in Naomi's face, Mercedes comes in and rips Bianca off the apron and starts attacking her. Naomi gives a look of confusion, but also a look of thanks. Uh, she goes back to focus on the match as Mercedes beats Bianca away. After she does, Mercedes is still ringside. Afterwards, Nia and Tamina come down. Nia starts arguing with Mercedes, telling her to leave. Mercedes doesn't want to, so Nia throws a punch. The two start brawling. Tamina tries to separate them, but can't. Naomi now turns her attention toward them, and as that's happening, Rox rolls up Naomi for the win.
Nice.
All right. Backstage, Cena goes up to Ric Flair. Hey, there's something I gotta talk to you about. Sure, what is it? I've been talking to Andre Chase, and I think I'm gonna give them a shot. Are you serious? After everything I've done for you? Look, Rick,
Ain't no way.
I can't just do the same thing over and over again. We've been at it for months and nothing has changed. I need to make a change. It's nothing personal. I'll see you around. Cena walks away and runs in to chase you. Ah, if it isn't our newest student. Here, we got you your gear. Andre hands Cena a Chase U shirt. Alright. And for our first order of business, we got you a huge match next week against the number one contender for the WWE Championship. Next week, Rock versus Cena 3. Good luck out there, champ. See you in the classroom tomorrow.
You hate to hear it.
uh, we then cut to the trainer's room with Naomi. Mercedes walks up to her, but in the background we can see Randy talking to Kevin Owens. Okay. Hey, so that didn't really go how it was supposed to go. Yeah, you think? Look, I was just trying to help, and I did. Who knows what would have happened if I didn't fight off Bianca? It wasn't my fault what happened. I was just defending myself against them. If you really want to help, why don't you take on Bianca next week? Weaken her up for me. All right, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, yeah. See, we're close to being reunited. I can feel it. Mercedes walks off. Naya walks in. Sorry about that. Tamina was telling me that it was okay to stay in the back, but I didn't listen. I should have trusted that you guys had it under control. It's fine. It's not like that was a title match or anything. But now it's time that we focus on the real challenge, softening up Bianca and Rhea. All right. Dean wins, lol. After the match, Priest comes in and tries to attack him, but he gets out of the way and runs to the crowd. Priest grabs a mic and says, "You've messed with the Judgment Day long enough. Next week we end this thing in a steel cage." See, I told you earlier, I've been using steel cages a lot on Raw. Alright. Michael Cole again backstage says we have commotion going on. We cut to Rhea and Bianca getting beat down by Nia, Tamina, and Naomi. They're both getting smacked with chairs and being thrown into the equipment containers until we are finally able to separate them. Right. Then we have a promo package with a bunch of women saying they're officially entering the Royal Rumble. Get like Michin, Mercedes, Zelina, Roxanne, Liv, Naya, Tamina, Thea, Tiffany, all of them. All right. In this match, once again, Zelina is ringside, and so is Liv. They keep fighting each other, so it leads to the ref focusing on the outside as Raquel hits her finisher. With the ref distracted, she doesn't get the pinfall. She gets the ref to pay attention again. Once she does, Michin rolls her up for the victory. Michin wins. Law.
Lol. It's okay.
Um,
Did she lose last week?
nope.
Okay.
Uh, Backstage, I'm checking up on Rhea. Are you okay? Just say the word and I'll throw Naomi out of the match at the Rumble. No, keep her in. Now I'm going to destroy her. Bianca walks in and says, I won it. We might not get along, but we got a common enemy now. This isn't going to be a 1v1v1 at the Rumble. It's going to be a 1v1v3. And we need to stop it before it happens. Rhea looks at her and says, Fine. Eric, give us a 6-woman tag match on the Go Home show. Okay, but there's only 2 of you. Who's your partner? Rhea and Bianca look at each other, annoyed, and both say, I think we have someone in mind. Okay. Promo package from the Undisputed Era saying they're officially declaring for the Royal Rumble. Adam Cole, Nakamura, Mello, Finn, JD. Alright, tag team title match. KO is just filled with bloodlust and just keeps going after Rock the whole match, constantly tagging himself in whenever Rock goes in, and it costs him the match as the Bloodline are able to retain their championships. Uh, Stone Cold just sits against the barricade, just watching them celebrate. Kevin, however, isn't done. He goes under the ring, he grabs a chair, starts attacking Rock and Jimmy. Stone Cold gets up, not knowing what to do. Before he can do anything, Randy Orton runs in from the crowd and starts beating down on Jimmy and Rock. KO hands him the chair, and Randy starts unloading on Jimmy. He digs into his pockets, takes out handcuffs. He gets the Rock's hand, cuffs him to the rope. Rock could only watch, just as he did to Jay, and just like Jay, Rock has to watch as Randy punts Jimmy in the head, not once but twice. Randy
Twice.
shakes. Randy shakes KO's hand as Stone Cold is still just stunned on the outside. Some refs come in to try to stop Randy, but again, he just starts swinging the chair and hitting him with it. Kevin then gets in The Rock's face and yells at him that he deserves this and everything he has coming to him.
Okay. The Rebel Society open up the show and speak about Cora Jade's match with Paige later tonight. Cora gets on the mic and says she told Paige last week that she should have stayed retired, and she meant it. At first, she was happy to see Paige back. She was one of her idols growing up, but then they finally met, and Paige blew her off. Cora says things happened, so she gave her another shot, and once again, she got blown off. The saying goes, fool me once, shame on me, but fool me twice, then shame on you. And the shame is truly on you, because now I have to teach one of my idols a lesson in respect. Just because I am young doesn't mean you can just blow me off. So tonight, when I beat you, understand it is all your fault. We then go backstage. Paige, Becky, and Charlotte are watching the monitor, seeing what Cora Jade is saying. Paige is in disgust. Paige questions how any of this could be her fault. Was she the one who attacked first? No. Was she the one who nailed the other with the briefcase? No. And now Cora wants to play the victim in all of this? Paige says she did not come back to wrestling to soothe other people's egos. If a lesson is to be taught tonight, then she's going to be the one delivering it. All three go to walk off, but Bayley, who was watching in the background, calls Becky over. Bayley asks Becky why she is still hanging out with Charlotte. Becky says because they're friends and a title match isn't going to separate them. Bayley then raises concerns about how Charlotte has been acting and how she has blatantly disrespected her, and how in all of this Becky hasn't had her back. Becky asks what is she supposed to do. Bayley says be a friend. You just allowed her to step over me literally and didn't even bat an eye. I was there for you in all those times when you and Damage Control were going head to head, but since we've gotten through that, it feels like I am just an afterthought. Becky says she hasn't treated Bayley like an afterthought. She gave her a title opportunity like she deserved. What more could she want? Bayley says she just wants her friend back, the one that went through wars with her, not the one who's kissing Charlotte's ass, giving her what she wants. And also, you haven't even asked about the arm injury that you caused. If you don't think you're treating me like an afterthought, maybe it's time to open your eyes and see what's really going on. And Bayley storms off. We cut to the ring, Charlotte versus Indy. Charlotte wins, lol.
Tragic.
um, we go backstage to Paul Heyman's office. Seth Rollins is speaking with Paul Heyman about CM Punk. Seth says he understands the relationship that he and Punk have, but delaying this match until the Royal Rumble is just protecting CM Punk from him. Heyman says that if Seth thinks he is protecting Punk in this situation, then he is completely wrong. Heyman tells Seth that he cost Punk what could be his last shot at the World Heavyweight title. Um, Jesus, I butchered this. Let me just restart this. I butchered how I wrote this. Seth is speaking with Paul Heyman about CM Punk. Seth says he understands the relationship that he and Punk have, but delaying this match until the Royal Rumble is just protecting Punk from him. Heyman says that Seth thinks he is protecting Punk in this situation. Why did I write that? Heyman tells Seth that he cost Punk what could be his last shot at the world title, and Seth thinks he is protecting Punk. Heyman tells Seth that he is protecting him. He is coming off a very bad knee injury and wants to make sure Seth is 100% for his match at the Royal Rumble. Seth is confused that Heyman thinks that he needs to be protected. Seth says when he came back, he knew what he was coming back to, and the fact that Heyman thinks that he needs to be protected honestly offends him. Heyman says if Seth feels like he is ready, how about next week he has a match? And if he feels so brave, then afterwards he can draw a number for the Royal Rumble. Seth says he will see Paul Heyman next week. I put a line in there that had no reason in being there. Just reiterated what the next sentence was. Um,
That's good.
um, Cody and Ricochet are interviewed. Cody says he has spoken to Heyman about a chance to get themselves a title shot, and he agreed. Cody says if Cross doesn't want to fight, that's fine. They're just going to move on and go after the gold like they intended to do in the first place. They go out to the ring. Cody and Ricochet versus the Good Brothers. Cody and Ricochet win. After the match, you see the cameras pan up to the suites where you just see the Final Testament sitting in a suite watching on. We go back to Paul Heyman's office where he is on the phone to somebody and speaking about the Royal Rumble. He gets confirmation from the person that they will be able to compete at the Royal Rumble, and Heyman says he'll be anticipating their meeting. Sami Zayn then comes into Paul Heyman's office with Bronson Reed. Sami asks Heyman if he is proud of himself. He brings up the countless title matches and says Heyman for weeks has lacked the respect for his top champion and demands that Heyman start treating him with some. Heyman tells Sami that a champion is supposed to be challenged. You don't get to the top just by coasting. You have to earn it. For the past few weeks, I've given you test after test to see your resolve as a champion, and I think you have passed them with flying colors. For your efforts, I am rewarding you with the week off tonight. You don't have a match. You can just sit back and enjoy the show. Sami says it's about time, but Heyman cuts him off and says he's not done. He tells Sami that he will be getting this week off, but as for next week, he has another match for his title, and that match will be against Bronson Reed. Sami says Heyman can't do that. Bronson is his friend, and they aren't supposed to fight. Heyman says he could do what he wants, and Bronson deserves something for beating a former world champion in Drew McIntyre last week. Sami is upset and storms out of the room with Bronson Reed. Um, we then see Pure Fusion Collective being interviewed about Shayna being EO last week. Sonya says they all knew it was going to happen. They're the best women's faction in all of WWE, and last week was just the start of their rise to the top. Damage Control confronts them and complains about Zoe getting involved last week. Sonya laughs at them for making excuses for their own shortcomings. Um, Io says they want revenge for last week and want Zoe in a match. Sonya says if they want to be humiliated again this week, then they have no problem with that. And they send out Zoe. Damage Control sends out Asuka. Um, Towards the end of the match, we see Zoe start go for a roll up towards the ropes, but Dakota pushes Zoe over to where Asuka now has Zoe rolled up, and Asuka picks up the win.
Oscar.
Asuka.
Best women's faction, my ass.
The best women's faction, goddammit. You heard me right.
Bloodline would like a word.
They might have a confrontation sooner than later.
And they'll prove they're the best. The Bloodline will.
Nah, Pure Fusion Collective, they're coming out on top with those titles.
In your twisted reality, baby.
In this reality, listen, we're not in your reality where Dean Ambrose is taking on Jon Moxley, okay? Anyways, LA Knight then comes down to the ring. He says now that he's gotten through both Ilya and Braun Breaker, it's time for some new meat to take a crack at his US title. Braun Breaker's music hits. LA Knight says he has already beaten this bum before, and now And how about he allows someone who's actually worth a damn to come face him? Braun Breaker enters the ring and snatches the mic out of LA Knight's hands and says last week he wasn't the one pinned, so he wants his rightful shot at that title, one-on-one. LA Knight grabs the mic back and asks Braun if he really wants to get his ass kicked one more time. LA Knight says if that's what he wants, then he agrees to it, but says when he wins, he doesn't want to see Braun back out here for another open challenge. We then start the match. Towards the end of the match, we see LA Knight calling Braun Breaker up to his feet to hit the BFT. Once Breaker stands up, LA Knight goes to hit the BFT, but Breaker shoves him off towards the ropes, and when Knight comes back towards him, Braun spears Knight. He then covers Knight 1, 2, 3 to win the United States title. Braun Breaker then celebrates his title win, and we see Ilya on top of the ramp staring at Braun. Um, we go backstage. The Rebel Society are seen getting Cora ready for her match against Paige up next. Punk asks if she wants them out there with her. Cora says no. She wants to handle this situation on her own and doesn't want Paige to have any reason to have an excuse. We then cut over to the other locker room. Where the hell am I? We then see Paige getting ready with Charlotte. Charlotte tells Paige that tonight she gets to teach Cora a lesson in respect, but also to understand. Charlotte tells Paige that tonight but also to understand that they both were once in Cora's shoes, trying to make a name for themselves, and not to take this too personally. Paige says thanks and heads towards the ring. We then see Becky call over Charlotte as the camera cuts towards the ring. We move on to Cora Jade versus Paige. To start the match, we see Cora hold out her hand to shake Paige's, but when Paige goes to reach out, Cora just moves her hand out of the way and walks away and laughs at her. Um, Cora laughs at Paige before Paige just rushes in and starts the attack. Paige is just unleashing her frustrations on Cora in the corner before needing to be pulled back by the referee. After being restrained, Paige moves back in to try to continue the attack, but Cora kicks Paige's knee and Paige goes face first into the turnbuckle. From there, Cora holds the advantage in the match and is constantly berating Paige for how she treated her. We see Cora go to hit Paige with Jaded, but Paige shoves Cora back into the referee. The referee goes down and Cora is quick to nail Paige with a dropkick. Cora realizes the referee is down and goes outside to grab her briefcase. She taunts with it for a moment before charging in to attack Paige with it, but Paige nails her with a big boot to the briefcase that just smashes into her face. The briefcase is now just laying in the ring and Paige grabs it. She contemplates using it but decides against it. Before she could throw it down, though, the referee gets up and sees the briefcase in Paige's hands and sees a down Cora Jade. The referee then decides to DQ Paige, who is yelling at the referee that she didn't do anything. Paige throws the briefcase down and continues to argue with the referee. As she is arguing, she gets turned around by Cora, and Cora hits Paige with a Jaded on the briefcase. Cora then picks up her briefcase and once again taunts Paige. Cora Jade wins via DQ.